Okay, looks like it's working.
Yay.
It loves this new moon energy too.
Yeah. Meeting is now streaming live, but it doesn't say live though.
I think that we're live.
Okay.
Oh, wait, there we go. We just popped up.
Awesome.
Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm just going to make sure that we are. There we are. Okay, beautiful. Hi, welcome. It's so nice to have you here. Kara and I have so much fun when we get together. And so we're very excited to take this opportunity to just connect with you all today and talk about wealth creation in the Akashic records. It's such an important topic on so many different levels. So we're going to talk about some of that today. So Kara, would you like to introduce yourself, love?
Sure. Thank you for having me, Laura. And I know we were just talking about the eclipse energy, and I was thinking about that this morning. I'm like, of course, this is happening on the day of the eclipse. And I don't think either of us realized when we initially planned this, at least not consciously.
Right.
Something was at play there. Yeah. So I am a master astrologer, Akashic Records practitioner, cosmic business coach, and I love helping people work with cosmic intelligence to create their best life, to create expansion in their business. So definitely looking forward to our conversation today around wealth creation in the Akashic Records, because I know for both of us, it's been a huge part of our expansion in all areas of our life, being able to work within the realm of the records. And I know for both of us, it's helped massively scale our business as well, because it is so aligned with our soul path and our soul purpose. So really excited to dive in and talk about this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. For those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is Kara Melendy, and I am an Akashic healer and teacher. I've also been a therapist in New York State in the US for almost 20 years. And just like Kara said, you know, the Akashic records have been so mind-blowing in terms of how much they've changed my life at so many different levels that I got to the point where it just didn't feel right to not share this and really scream it from the rooftops. And I remember way back at the beginning of my journey when I was following Kara, and she talked about how it changed her life. And every time I would open the records, I would see the color purple, and that was it. And I was like, how has this changed her life? And then all of a sudden one day it was like, oh, now I get it. And now look what I'm doing. Kara was one of my first mentors. So I love sharing her with the world. Her heart is entirely pure, truly of service. And it's so nice to be able to get together and just process in this space. So exciting. So where do you think would be a good place for us to begin with sharing with people who are like, what does the Akashic records have anything to do with wealth? Like, how does this even connect? Like, where would you start with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was reflecting on this, and I feel like a big part of it for me and my journey is the Akashic records connect us to the highest possibility and potential for our life and for our business. And one thing I love to do in the records, and I'll often bring clients through this, or a group in my group programs through this, like doing Akashic journeys and really feeling into the different paradigms of reality that coexist for us. And because we know in any moment there's infinite potential and possibility. That's what the Akashic field and space is all about. And then it's all about what is the frequency we are tapped into? What is the frequency that we are playing in that space and energy? So I think the big shifts for me around wealth have been opening up to what is really possible for me, because my ego, my belief systems had these ideas about what I can create, what I can achieve. And then there's what was written in the records for me to claim as well. And so much of that I am still stepping into, but every day I feel it unfolding in beautiful ways. The more I can stay locked in to my higher self, keep that connection to infinite intelligence and attune to that. And a part of that really is that energy of wealth in the purest sense. So there, I feel like there's just so much we could dive into around this. So that was like a big part of it for me, was just realizing what is really possible and being able to calibrate and attune to that. And in the records, again, like we get the kind of the purest essence. So we get to experience and feel what wealth is like. So it becomes not just an intellectual concept, but something we can embody, a frequency that we can play in our life. And part of that is financial wealth, but it's wealth in all areas, not feeling that sense of lack, but a sense of overflow and abundance. What have you found for yourself, Laura, like has helped you tap into that?
Yeah, so I love that. And actually it's funny because while you were talking, and hi, Suzanne, thanks so much for being here. Any of you who would like to share this out for anybody who could benefit, please feel free. And of course, you're always welcome to drop your comments here and we can answer them live. But one of the things that was coming up while you were talking about that was the concept of health for me, like having wealth in my health, you know, because that's been part of my journey, you know, that really kind of activated my awakening into modern spirituality. And it's interesting to really view my health as this, my wellness as this opportunity for overflow, like an overflow of wellness, right? And I mean, Abraham Hicks is like the queen on this, right? Yeah. Sure. They are definitely so helpful in this area that, you know, lack doesn't exist at all in the Akashic records. You know, illness does not exist within the space of the Akashic records. So it's about attuning our vibration and what Hicks says is our vortex, right? Like really aligning our vortex and being tapped into that on a consistent basis and returning to that truth, you know, like when my mind runs with me and I'm thinking about this, that, or the other that's going on with my physical body or even mental health for that matter, we get to tune into, you know, what's possible for me? How am I being distracted from my natural state of wellness and vitality? Right. And so when I tap into that, to be honest with you, the money piece just naturally flows.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I don't even have to think about it.
I love that. Yeah. And I love how you bring in that idea of the vortex, because that's often how I see the Akashic field. And sometimes I'll say it's like claiming our destiny. But when I say destiny, a lot of it is the intentions like that our soul had coming into this body, right? For our experience. And I love how you describe like there is no illness, there is no lack in the records. That's part of our ego. Our ego human experience can create that when we are separated from what is really possible. So the records naturally recalibrates us to that, which is the beauty in that space. And I think it, you know, it goes back to what you were sharing at the beginning when you first entered. You're like, what is this all about? Because there's so much potential there. And it really is a subtle energy that we get to explore. And many of the changes, like sometimes we can feel it right away. Like people will get a sense of love. I often hear people say, oh, I'm just so at peace. It's a feeling of love, a feeling of coming home. Some people get incredible visuals and symbols that come in, and other people initially they're like, I'm not sure, but they still feel called toward it. They're like, I'm not sure, but there's something here for me. And then often I find like, you know, the weeks to follow, they'll see these changes in their life. They'll start to see that things are moving into place. They'll start to feel more confident and empowered. They'll start to feel more supportive. Because I think that's what it's opened me up to as well, realizing like this is not a journey that I have to do on my own. There's so much support from my spirit team. There's so much support from my higher self. I don't have to do this on my own. And that alone opens up so many possibilities. It's not that we are really incredibly powerful as humans, because of course we are, right? We're connected to this energy. So when we learn to tap into it, it opens those possibilities. So we're not limited as much by the mind anymore. And we see, oh, there's so much more than that. And another piece too, I think, especially when it comes to wealth, like there's so much attached to it that our ego attaches to it, right? Or the human mind, whether that's wealth in terms of what it means to be in our physical body and healthy, or wealth in terms of the money that we're earning. There's a lot that's been unhealthy that's attached to those things, right? If we look at the money piece, it can be that it's, you know, wrong to have money. You can't be spiritual and have money. It may take a lot of work, but in the record, records, we return to that pure essence of what it actually is. And I see wealth as really being this energy of love. Like it's an energy of love. And the more we hold the energy of wealth, the more we're holding that energy of love. So I think realizing that is really helpful too, when we detach from the projections that society has placed on it, and we come back to what is it at the pure essence of it. And that's part of the new paradigm, I feel too, that light workers and healers are bringing forward, like a new way to see our relationship, not only with wealth, but leadership, and in so many different areas. These new paradigms are opening up.
I literally had about 25 thoughts while you were talking. So I'm just gonna pick one and we'll go from there. The first thing that came up when you were talking at the beginning of that was this idea of sovereignty, right? Like, I love that money is an energy of freedom, right? There's a lot when we tap into that sensation, that feeling in the space of the Akashic records, when we tap into wealth, it's like this feeling of freedom. And so I think about, you know, for me, something that's been really supportive when you were talking about, oh, I don't have to do this alone. Like I have my spirit team, right? That it's like, you're able to view yourself as this sovereign being, separate from your parents, your bloodline necessarily, you know, the people that birthed you and quote unquote created you on this planet, being able to see like your mother as Mother Gaia, your father as Father Sky, and you're kind of suspended there in the middle as this sovereign being here to really bring forward this very powerful message. And so for me, that's been a big piece too, like being able to disconnect from that conditioning that's happened on this planet and connect to really my true source, right? Seeing myself as an actual product of source and Mother Gaia, which I think is so beautiful. And it allows us to really feel, that's how I really tap into that feeling of like sovereignty and freedom. So like people who are wondering like, how do I get that sensation within me? Of course, you can explore that with Kara and the Akashic Record. She has a beautiful free series coming up that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But, you know, that's another tool that you can use, is just to kind of like visualize that and call that forward in meditation.
Totally. I love that. And I love this idea of being a sovereign being. I feel that's coming in really strongly right now. Like I've been feeling that in my life. I've had other people bring it up in conversations, and it is really powerful. And I know you do so much incredible work around ancestral healing, right? So understanding that we are that sovereign being is huge, right? And that we don't have to come in and rescue or save people or take on unhealthy patterns. Like, yes, we can choose to do that. And sometimes we do as part of our healing, but ultimately we are that sovereign being. And I think just feeling into that is huge. Exactly what you said. We don't have to take on those conditionings. And that in and of itself is so powerful in just deepening that connection, right? To Mother Gaia, to infinite intelligence, and just feeling into that is huge. And that opens up, I feel like that opens up our world and helps us see like the desires of what I want to create and experience it makes it more real. And again, going back to this idea, which I think is just so fitting with the cosmic energies today too, where we're working right with the solar eclipse and Gemini energy, which is very much about the mind. And that's powerful. It's like honoring the mind, but also knowing, like, tap into the higher mind, right? As well. So it really opens up just so much when we realize, oh, wow, like those desires I have really are sacred. They are written in the records for me, and my history or the family I was born into would never hold me back from any of that. Right?
So thank you, because that was one of my other 25 thoughts, which was, you know, the ancestral healing piece. I mean, you know, I always call that forward, especially when we're talking about wealth, especially when we're talking about health, because I really strongly feel and see that connection with you were talking about the conditioning, right, on this planet. And, you know, the conditioning from our ancestral line, it's literally impossible for that not to exist at some level if you're just starting your work on this, you know? And so what I love about it is that it encapsulates both removing that conditioning and understanding it and having a context for it, and being able to co-create the desires of your ancestral line all together collectively, right? Like, again, not doing it alone, being able to create this with the people who came before you, whether you know them and met them in person or not, but being able to access this connection to, number one, remove blocks, because they want to speak, like they want to be heard, you know? And so when we connect with them, it's like really understanding their story and becoming more intimately connected to how have things unfolded up until this point, and how do we desire for them to continue in order to heal and rewire some of these patterns and some of this conditioning that's occurred within our line in particular, you know?
Beautiful. Oh my goodness. That feels so powerful, right? That feels really, really big. And absolutely. And I see that connected into our desires as well, right? Like a lot of that may be our ancestral desires. So really claiming that and celebrating that is huge, so huge. And I love that piece of the records too, that when anytime I open and access the records, I always hold the intention to call in angels, guides, loved ones, ancestors. And I also say any and all beings working in our highest and best good, because it just opens up to what are we meant to receive healing wise, wisdom wise. And the ancestral piece is really big. I feel that surfacing for a lot of people now as well. The ancestral healing, but also taking the gifts from our ancestral line as well. And I love to work with people that are really like pioneers in that area too, that really step up and say like, all right, I'm breaking this old generational pattern. I'm going to put a new one into place. And of course, honoring that connection to our ancestors too. And something else that came in when you were speaking as well, it's like sometimes our human self can see it a certain way, maybe even see our family or ancestral line a certain way. But when we open the records, we see the bigger, broader picture. And it's amazing how we can even, rewrite timelines, rewrite our history by seeing it in a new way in the records, seeing our childhood in a new way, seeing the experiences we had in a new way. It really just broadens it and helps us see, what's actually going on. Because this human life experience is one part of a much bigger journey. So the records gives us that broader perspective. And I think that's been a big part of the healing and stepping into the wealth creation too, just seeing like, okay, the bigger picture on all of these things.
Yeah. And I think what I'm always telling my clients too is being able, especially when we're talking about ancestral work, to really disconnect your egoic, I guess, attachment or perspective on who that person was when they were in human form, right? Like it can be so hard if you had like a really tense relationship with somebody and they passed, and then you're calling them forward and you have this preconceived understanding of who they are. And I'm telling you, they present so differently in spiritual form. I mean, they're just pure love with full intention and clear intention, and actually they're all of service, right? They've all come here and sometimes taken on a role that isn't so favorable in our eyes, in order to assist us with learning whatever lessons we need to. And so they deserve an enormous amount of respect and honoring for that. And one of my questions for you actually, Kara, was, isn't the South Node in Gemini right now?
North Node in Gemini, South Node in Sagittarius.
Oh, right. Okay. Got it. Because one of them, I was trying to understand this when I was looking at the cosmos this morning. I was trying to understand this because I was like, I'm feeling this really, and every time Chiron's in Aries, like when Chiron's in Aries, oh my gosh, I'm like, all the past stuff, right, is like coming up to be like, it's, I don't know what it is about Aries, but every time stuff is in that sign, I'm like, anyway. So, but I was just curious because I'm feeling this really strong intuitive hit of like, really, really releasing the past on this new moon. I know we typically release on the full moon and we set intentions on the new, but I'm feeling this like these old patterns, not just with ourselves, but with our ancestors, with our line, to like release those old stories and be like, no, I am feeling, it's so funny you use the word pioneer because that's the word that keeps coming up. It's kept coming up in my sessions with my clients recently, just in the past week. I mean, it's just like this, you know what? They're being really clear. Like if you have any of this on your heart and soul, just this is your time. Like the time is now. I'm feeling that so strongly.
I love it. Well, we are, the North Node is in Gemini, but we're like eclipse season really is about that energetic reset. So it's always going to involve that element of releasing and healing. And then definitely depending where it's falling in our chart, that, I know you know this, Laura, it's going to influence how it's expressed, right?
Right.
But absolutely, there is that feeling of, well, we need to release in order to move forward, right? And with the South Node in Sagittarius, a lot of what we're releasing is like these old collective beliefs. You could see it as like dogma that's just outdated, or we're beginning to question it. And that's the Gemini energy of like, stay open and question and stay curious. So it is really new opportunities that are opening up for people at this time, but we still have to do our part. We still have to say, okay, what role am I playing in this? And what do I have to release in order to move forward? What am I invited to heal or let go of, right? And not that we need to be perfect in order, like this is an idea I've really been playing with lately, is like, yes, we can do the releasing and clearing work and we get to receive where we are now. It's like we can bring both in together, right? Because that's huge when we release judgment around where we are, where we have to be in order to receive what we want. Like wealth is an energy. All we have to do is say, yes, I'm open to being in that frequency. We don't even need to clear and release every limiting belief we have around it.
Right. Exactly.
In order to receive it. Now, there can be a place for that if we really feel there's a place and there's a lesson there that we need. But definitely there's this energy that's just like, do I allow it in? Am I ready to allow it in? And the records can really attune us to that frequency too, really easily. Or again, if people are listening now and maybe they haven't experienced the records, just knowing that's a choice for you too. Like you can choose to look at, okay, how can I just allow this wealth in? And what does wealth mean to you? What does that look like? What does it feel like? And just beginning to play in that energy. And speaking of Gemini, be curious about it. Be curious about what that could mean and look like in your life. You know.
Yeah, I love that. And Tina was saying too, she's like, I'm feeling the need to release a lot too, because I know so much good is coming. Good morning, Karen. Thank you for being here. Yeah. So one of the things that you were talking about had come up earlier for me too, is this concept of like responsibility, right? And kind of owning where we currently are with it. So it's you being able to say, you know what? I have all of the wealth that I currently require. Right? Like coming to a level of appreciation and acceptance for where you currently are, how you're currently vibrating, how you're currently ticking in this human life, right? Yeah. And being able to appreciate that at its depth without sitting there being like, well, when I get this amount of money, I'll do X, Y, and Z. Or when I, do this or that, then the money will come in, and it's all kind of always predicated on something else, but realize like you're alive. You have a roof over your head. You can feed yourself, like stay present in, I have all that I currently require. And as you appreciate and accept and release and surrender, and that was going to be one of my questions too, is like where surrender comes in with this as well, just in your perspective. But like, yeah, when we surrender that desperate clinging to what it is we want or think we need, right? Because needy energy is going to keep the wealth away from us. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Needy energy is that grasping. And when you grasp, look, no air is going through. You know what I mean? Like there's no energetic flow. Right. And so it's the most, a lot of people feel so helpless when it comes to money. They feel like there's nothing I can do, or I have to, they think of the practical or the tangible, like, okay, I have to go get a different job or get a side job or something like that. Or like they think practically. And instead it's really about fully embracing like where you are, who you are, and that you have everything the universe needs you to have right now and requires you to have right now to be able to flourish. So what are your thoughts on that?
So many. Similar to you, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's so much there. I love it.
I know.
Well, yeah, there's one piece that I want to speak to, and then I can talk about the surrender too. But even that idea of control, where you were saying some people feel like this kind of panicky or needy energy around money, right? And a big thing that's changed my relationship with money in a positive way is this deep realization that I'm more powerful than money in so many ways and so many levels. And I think regardless of where we are financially, we can still sometimes make money more powerful than us. And that is just not the case, right? Really, it's just paper and whatever we decide to project on it. And so we are more powerful. And I think when we get that, that's huge because we're no longer a victim to to it. So even just feeling into that and playing with that idea, that alone, I think, is so empowering for people. And the idea of surrender is so key, right? Because it does release resistance. And I know we both have that background in psychology. I don't know, maybe if it was Carl Jung or Carl Rogers has that quote that says the curious paradox is when I accept things as they are, that's when they can change. So I feel like that kind of acceptance of where we currently are creates space. We're no longer making ourselves wrong, right? So kind of going back to that idea of realizing, okay, I am where I am, and what can I appreciate where I am? Because it truly, truly is a choice. And of course, when there's more money coming in, it's easier to feel safer. It's easier to feel secure. But I've also seen and worked with clients that continue to increase their income, and there can still be this panicky energy around money. If that foundational piece of safety and security isn't there, right? Like that has to come from within us. That energy of appreciation and gratitude, that's a choice regardless of where we are. Because even when our external situations, like if they do change and we don't have that, we'll still be in that panicky energy, and we'll still be finding it hard to be grateful, right? So we have to have those core foundational pieces. Or I don't want to say have to, but we're certainly more supported.
Right. Well, I look at it this way, because I really look at this as, a relationship that we have with money, and so if you view this as a relationship, and you just keep going to money and being like, come on, that's not enough. Like, I need more in order for, they're going to be like, well, why do you just keep taking from me and not appreciating what I'm giving you?
Yeah.
Like if you were in a relationship with somebody like that, you'd feel like, why are you such a taker all the time? You know what I mean? Like, how are you nourishing that relationship with money and like appreciating and acknowledging the fact that honestly, it's available to circulate within and around all of our fields. In fact, it already is. That's the beauty of it. Like that energy of money. Yeah. It's like, it's always there with us. It's always circulating. It's just like Kara was saying earlier, like, are you open to receiving it and truly cultivating a relationship with it? That's one of the things that I think we talked about in the Money Shame series that we did on Clubhouse. Where it was like, writing a letter to money, like cultivating and sometimes that letter needs to be one of I'm really sorry for any times that I've really disrespected you, and I forgive you for times when I feel like you failed me, and being able to really have a back and forth and a conversation and receive that feedback.
Totally. So powerful to see it. And I think that helps a lot of people when you can look at it. Okay, if this was a relationship, what are the dynamics that are at play here? And for me, for the longest time, it was like ignoring money. It's not like, I was ignoring it. Really?
Me too.
Like I wouldn't really look at my numbers. I wasn't aware of what's going on. And like one of the really like practical tools I think that really shifted in my business was even just tracking my numbers better.
Yep.
Like being aware of what was coming in, actually looking at them. And I still love to do that now. Like it feels really exciting to look at, oh, look, this is what's coming in. And to just have that awareness, right? Another thing that really supported me in shifting was like a playful energy around money. Anytime I can sink into, oh, I'd love to do this with my money. Like I'd love to give to charities here, right? Or like, buy this property, like anything that feels really exciting and fun, like that, it shifts instantly. It was really cool. I actually started to notice that last year, the more I played with that energy of like, oh my goodness, it would feel so good to like, just go into like an animal charity or hospital and be able to pay for someone to have that surgery covered for their animal. It's like, oh, wow. Or, oh my goodness. It would feel so good to buy this home or piece of land. Like it just started to feel really fun. And then I would notice money coming in unexpected ways. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like I'm shifting my energy around how I relate to it. And it's coming in. We hear about this all the time, but it's really cool when you start to play with these ideas and actually experience them for yourself, right?
And I think really like you were saying, like really immerse yourself into that experience so that you can feel it. You
Feel
can
it.
really
Yeah.
feel that lighthearted energy around the money, because it's like, honestly, it's so good for you
Mhm.
to fantasize
Yeah.
about money and to be like, oh my gosh, like if I had $1 million, like what would I do with it? Or like if I was making, if I were making 100K months, like what would I do with it? And being able to really to have fun with it, just have fun with it. And honestly, it's not going to do anything but make you feel like, oh, that'd be so cool, right?
Yeah.
And then that's where you need to, well, doing this in the records is the safest place to
Oh,
do so,
huge. Yeah.
because then you have a much lower likelihood of your mind getting in the way and like
Mhm.
talking back to you and being like, yeah, but you know what? That's never going to happen for you. So just like come down off your high horse, lady, right?
Totally. Yes. And that's what I was going to say too. It's like, as long as we don't allow ourselves to shift into the lack around it, right? Like, and just stay in that energy and vibration of excitement around it. And yeah, the records is a great way. And to even be attuned to like, oh, wow, this is even bigger than I thought. Like, I was thinking small.
Yes, that's what I love.
Totally
That's actually
possible.
one of the things that's helped me the most, is thinking about like this or better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I can't, because I couldn't even fathom
Mm-hmm.
that this life existed for me as I'm living it now. There's
Mm-hmm.
no way a few years ago that I could see that this was possible for me. And so it's so amazing to think about, like, and I'm a big dreamer, and
Yeah.
I'm like, it could be even, it can be and will be even bigger than that.
Yes. Oh, I love that feeling. Yay.
It's
And
so fun.
I just love playing in that. And I think that's another thing too. And this is a good tip for everyone. Like, if you feel like, I don't know if this is possible for me, like that next income level, or maybe soulmate partner, whatever it is that you're calling in, really feel into, okay, but on the big scheme of things, like, oh my goodness, of course this is possible. It's like our doubts and fears that may say, am I asking for too much? So even going to the vision beyond the vision really puts it in perspective, and can also make us aware of where there's some beliefs we may need to clean up, right? Because will even catch myself with that. It's like, okay, I say I want this, but then there's a part of me that may feel a little nervous if I see it coming together, or that little voice that says, but am I asking for too much? So I think we do constantly need to be aware of that and continue to recalibrate, to know. And the records is my way to recalibrate, as well as EFT. I love EFT as well.
I was actually just going to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, earlier, like when that mind comes in, whether
Mm-hmm.
you're in the records or not, you just tap it away. Easy
Tap it
peasy.
away.
Tap it away.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I love that idea of just consistently recalibrating, and it's really important for you all to realize that like we are doing that all the time. We are
Yeah.
human beings too, and we're spiritual leaders, and we're recalibrating all the time. And but not in a way that feels obligatory, and not in a way that feels like, all right,
Mhm.
I have to do this or else I'm not going to stay on track. Like, it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like loving myself.
Mhm.
It's like so
Totally.
loving toward myself, because I'm able to be like, oh my gosh, like this is such a beautiful opportunity for me to sink into my presence and just,
Mm.
appreciate
Yes.
me and where I am at my core,
Mm.
and we chose to be in this human experience. So we chose the polarity. We
Yeah.
chose the super extremes that we can experience as human beings. And so it
Mm.
is literally our job here on this planet to recalibrate. Like that's kind of what we're
Exactly.
doing. That's kind of what we're doing here in these human bodies.
Totally. Oh, I got chills as you said that. Yeah.
Yes.
It also reminded me, I was having a conversation with one of my clients the other day, and talking about the lessons where we are, right? Wherever we are, there's beautiful lessons and things to be grateful for. And, I was saying, it's not like we need this lesson before we can move on to what's next. It's like we get to receive this. We get to
Yes.
grow from this experience. We get to receive the lesson, and we can still open up to receiving what we desire. So again, going back to that idea, like, of, okay, both. both and. Because sometimes I think we can feel like, oh, is the universe testing me? Is the universe punishing me? And if we can sink into, well, maybe it's just more of an invitation. What am I called to learn here? Is there more gratitude? And again, just coming at it with more of a playful, curious energy, while still knowing you're so worthy where you are and you still get to open up. It's like what Abraham says, grateful for where you are while open to receiving more. And I think that's kind of a constant dance that we're in this human experience, because we're kind of primed to say, anytime we reach a goal, it is like, what's next? But it's also, by the time we see the physical manifestation, it truly is done. It's like the work and the unfolding is the leading up to that, right? It's the energy, it's the mindset, it is the beautiful lessons that we're learning. And then the physical manifestation is, oh, okay, it's complete, and that's beautiful. And now what do I desire?
Yeah. Kind of back to the drawing board instead of this is not enough. Not like back to the beginning.
Not from a lack.
No, from like a creative space.
Beautiful. Yeah. And that's such an important distinction, right? That we're not chasing more and more in the sense of that's where my happiness is, but we're chasing more from that expansive, creative sense. Totally.
Yes, 100%. Again, Gemini energy, curiosity and creativity. So can you talk a little bit about your free series that's coming up next week?
Yes, I'm so excited for this. I know you have so many beautiful people from your community that have already jumped in. So it's energetics for the soul-led entrepreneur. And I've been feeling called to do this for a while, and it just dropped in feeling like the right time. And it does align with this beautiful eclipse energy, a new chapter that's going to be opening up. So as part of this series, I'm going to be helping people clear and release old karmic patterns around money. So continuing this conversation around what are some of the subconscious things we may be holding on to that don't ultimately serve us. And then also looking at how can I calibrate to the frequency of wealth in my life? What does that feel like? What does that mean? And then also looking at how do I open up to receive more abundance into my business? Because I love seeing healers and light workers just thrive. I mean, really good-hearted people. So this is going to serve, maybe you don't have a spiritual business, this will still serve you. As long as you're open to working with cosmic intelligence, I mean, this will shift your relationship with money and help you open up to receive more of that abundance.
Beautiful. I'm gonna drop the link here so that if people want to sign up for it, again, it's a totally free event and it's 3 days.
3 days, yeah. So we're kind of breaking it into like a different focus each day. There's going to be a chance to win prizes each day as well. So it's just going to be really fun, right? Like I'm going to be bringing that fun, playful energy around money, and I'll also be channeling. Like I'll tune in and channel. It'll feel into the records. What will be the most supportive for the people in this space to clear and release? What do they need to hear around money? And like posing that question in the records to literally be a channel for what's meant to flow through.
Yeah, I love that so much. Thank you for doing this for people. It's so needed. And like you said, the timing is perfect. So if you are someone who is even the least bit intrigued by this conversation, right? And feel drawn to doing this work. And even if you don't understand why you're drawn to it, but you're like, oh, I definitely encourage you to sign up. You have nothing to lose, right? And everything to gain, because it's a free experience. There's also just honestly, just beautiful connections in Kara's world that you can connect with other people and just really opening up your more opportunity and more possibility. And don't we all want that? Of course. And what's the timing look like? Are these going to be Facebook Lives?
Yeah, so 14th, 15th, and 16th at 1 p.m. Eastern. I do encourage people to be there live, to just be in the energy. And I mean, I kind of play with that too, right? If people are there live, I get a sense of the energy. I can answer questions that are coming in, and then that becomes part of what I talk about as well. But there will be replays. So once people sign up, you'll get a welcome email. So make sure you look out for that, because sometimes that goes to promotion or junk folder, unfortunately. So keep an eye out for the email, and that will give you all the dates and all the times, information on replays and prizes and all of that. So yeah.
Prizes. Yay.
Prizes too, right? I want to make this fun.
Right. We're talking about the playful energy of money. So you're bringing that forward. Great. Yeah. And Karen said she's looking forward to sharing more time with you, Kara. Karen Linder Trussell.
Oh, I look forward to it, Karen.
Pam Bulkin said she signed up. Yay. And Kirath is here too. Hi, Kira. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. So friends, if you guys have any questions about this experience, please feel free to reach out to me or to Kara over a private message, and we're happy to answer your questions so that you can feel really confident about just taking this step and diving in. And, you know, you can do it at your own pace, so you can join our live. I love being live because there truly is like a momentum that exists live. Yeah. And like your energy is really contributing so that when Kara's tuning into like, what does everybody need to hear today? Or what do they need to clear? Like you're part of that, you know? And so, yes, you can go at your own pace, but also like, it's such a beautiful way to feel, just leave feeling inspired and like, ooh, like I feel like all this momentum now. And it's a great way to just kind of kickstart yourself in really any area. It doesn't have to just be money, like we were talking about earlier.
For sure. Yeah. This is probably going to serve you in so many ways.
Yeah.
So many ways. Because money really is often just also a projection of other things, right? We heal other aspects of our life. We see our relationship with money improve. So yeah, it's connected to so many other things. And yeah, the energy is always so fun live because people will ask questions that just activate so much more information coming in just through that question, which is really cool. Yeah.
So fun. So cool. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This was wonderful.
Laura, this is always so fun to connect with you. I just love these eclipse energies, and just an honor to spend part of this day with you and your beautiful community.
Yes. And thank you to everybody who's watching live or on the replay. Again, let us know if you have any questions, and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.